Hello, and welcome to Fall into Sourdough. Today I'm going to read from the beginning of the sourdough chapter in A World of Breads by Dolores Casella from 1966. Chapter 8. Sourdough Breads, Biscuits, and Hotcakes. Sourdough breads were probably the first leavened breads known to man, and thus are thousands of years old. In modern times, however, sourdough rightly belongs to the far west. From Arizona to Alaska, the old-time mountain men, sheep herders, prospectors, and miners were so dependent on the pot or pail of sourdough, which was always with their provisions, that they were nicknamed sourdoughs. Like the traditional French soup pot, the sourdough pail was self-perpetuating. Replenished regularly, it provided its owner with a delicious variety of bread, biscuits, hotcakes, and even, in times of privation, when other alcoholic beverages were unavailable, with a type of liquor called hooch. This was the liquid that rises to the top of the sourdough. Poured off and drunk, it kept many a prospector happy during long winters. At some time during the late 19th century, sourdough breads lost their popularity with all but the old-time cooks. For most cookbooks, written from that time until recently, omitted any mention of what was evidently considered a primitive bread. The best way to start your own sourdough pot is to borrow a starter from a friend who has a bubbly batch going. Lacking this, you may make your own starter by one of the following methods. There is also a commercial starter on the market, which requires only water to activate it. For best results, use a glass, pottery, or plastic container, never a metal container. Keep the starter in the refrigerator or some other cool place, and use it weekly. If you do not use it at least once a week, freshen it every 10 days to 2 weeks by pouring off half of the starter and then blending in equal amounts of milk and flour. Let mixture stand until it bubbles, and then store in a cool place. The old sourdoughs warned against using the starter if it turned green, but if it turned orange, it was still all right. With modern refrigeration, this warning is seldom necessary. If you replenish the starter with equal amounts of milk and flour each time you use it, and either use it frequently or freshen it regularly, it may be kept going indefinitely, and in fact will become better with age. My favorite starter, which has been in constant use in my home for several years, uses nothing but milk and flour. For those who prefer a yeast starter, a recipe is given. And she goes on to describe her favorite starter and how to get that going, and a yeast starter. And a lot of the recipes in the sourdough chapter actually include adding yeast. Anyway, this is a really great book. I've made lots of things out of it, but never any of the sourdough things. I've lost the sourdough. Here we go. So I want to make this sourdough cornbread. That looks pretty good. Pretty easy. Anyway, giving you the whole thing. Don't look, buy the book. It's a great book. So, it's a short chapter on sourdough, but I thought the first part was interesting and thought I'd share it with you.